mercury-containing vaccines may help, not harm kids, according to 2 new studies in the journal Pediatrics. There have been widespread concerns that mercury-based preservatives in vaccines might impair the neurological development of children. These new studies suggest that the opposite, that the preservatives may actually be associated with improved behavior and mental performance.
By the way, I was talking to Mike Adams during the break, and he was saying, what's this about shrimp and treadmills? And I was mentioning we don't have money for government buildings have toilet paper, but they've got millions for shrimp on treadmills. And here's the video. Let me see that article, Mike. I'm going to read to folks. Millions of dollars in a study. Senator Cornyn targets shrimp on treadmill and other NSF spending. And there it is.
Is there an obesity epidemic among shrimp?
No, they're testing the psychology of shrimp. And there's... You think I'm joking? You can't make this stuff up. But, you know, the shrimp are now committing suicide. They'll swim right up to birds to be killed when they have the Prozac chemicals in them, again, made out of a combination of, what is it, fluoride, and then the other one I'm forgetting is chlorine. Very delicious. For them, but there you have it. Senator Coburn targets shrimp on treadmill and other non-essential. That was $3 million in grants for the shrimp you just saw there.
Wow, I'm happy to know we're going to have shrimp ready to run the triathlon. It comes time for that. It's good to know we're
people still think I'm lying about spider goats, but I saw 2 more articles about them yesterday. But again, splicing spiders and goats openly and letting them breed with other goats, that's not a problem. The problem is if people are promoting things like sea-based algae and getting vitamins out of other types of diatoms and things. That's evil.
Yeah, it's clear that the FDA is now going to make it so that the American people have really no options whatsoever. They're going to have to turn to big pharma because all their nutritional supplements could be taken away under these new proposed regulations, which they haven't been embraced yet, Alex. There's still a comment period, so there's a chance.
Oh, we're allowed to comment.
Yeah, exactly. But they can ignore our comments and they can just go with it anyway. But remember, Congress is not involved. This is not a proposed law. This is just a set of regulations. And if it is adopted, it would immediately wipe out most products on the shelves for 7
And by the way, we're not just saying that. Europe's already implemented this. This is already happening. Right. Sorry, start over. This would immediately wipe out?
Well, these products, once these companies apply to the FDA for new permission to sell these products, they would have to take all these products off the shelves for at least 75 days. So imagine...
including this olive leaf, olive leaf extract. How dare you?
That's right. Plant extracts.
Evil.
Natural vitamins, full spectrum supplements, superfoods. In fact, if you think about it, these are the kind of products that are keeping the American people alive in many cases, preventing cancer, preventing diabetes, preventing heart disease, keeping people off Obamacare and out of the hospitals. And if these are taken away from the American people, guess what's going to happen? Obamacare is, people are going to be screaming for more Obamacare. I mean, this is classic problem, reaction, solution. Take away the supplements, cause disease, and then have the government come in and rescue you with more Obamacare.
Well, my dad's got a lot of friends that are involved in, actually trying to bring herbal extracts into the big pharma realm. So as mainline Western medicine starts to actually adopt a lot of this, knowing how powerful it is, the information he's gotten, and a lot of this is in the news as well, is that what's really happening is drug companies know they can take natural things, change a little carbon molecule or something, and then charge you, instead of $20 for something, $1,000,
yes,
and then ban their competition.
That's exactly right. And in fact, these proposed regulations by the FDA specifically exclude synthetic molecules. So the drug companies are exempt from all this, even if they sell synthetic vitamins made with chemicals. And you know all those studies that they put out there that say, oh, this vitamin's bad for you? Those are always using the synthetic vitamins. And that's what's going to be legal. Meanwhile, the healthy, natural substances like what's in this Enerfood, that's going to be essentially banned or denied by the FDA. So this is the FDA taking more power, pushing more tyranny over the people, taking power that was never granted to it by the 1994 law, DSHEA. That law by Congress never intended for the FDA to turn this into an approval process. It was supposed to be a notification process, Alex. You notify the FDA when you're using an ingredient. You know,
but that's how it always starts.
Yes.
You know, sending in India all these ancient temples that have these billions of, dollars worth of rubies and things. The government's now identifying what they have so they can then later take it. Our guest is Mike Adams of naturalnews.com. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. We'll be right back after this quick break with a lot more. We'll get into more facets of this complete takeover of society that is taking place with Big Pharma writing the rules to shut down their competition. About shrimp on treadmill studies. A month ago, before it was even on the news, I'm a kook. I talked 15 years ago about spider goats, have the CEO of the company that has these on open range. I'm a kook, doesn't exist, even though it's all over the news now today. There's many other examples. I talked a year ago about bisphenol A. Talked about it really a decade ago with doctors, but bisphenol A in most of the plastics, feminizing men and hyperfeminizing women and accelerating breast cancer. Now those studies are all public, getting attention. But they had George Soros groups attack me and say I was a homophobe because I was saying that this is feminizing men. And in rodent studies, the female rats and mice aren't attracted to the males because they don't smell like males. Most of sex isn't just connected to visual things. It's the smelling cues of the olfactory nerve. So I'm just giving you scientific fact. And the system in George Soros's groups are saying I'm bashing gay people because I'm not saying everybody who's gay is because of this, but the fact is it's exploding because it's also affecting the chemicals in the brain. Men are now feeling effeminate. So expanding on all of this, there's now a huge move, kind of codex-alimentarius style, through the bureaucracy. And what is the time frame on all of this, Mike Adams? What can we do to stop it?
Right now, these proposed regulations are open to a comment period.
Oh, how gracious.
Yeah, they say you can comment on it so that they can then ignore your comments later on. But right now, the Alliance for Natural Health, they're at anh-usa.org. They're a nonprofit health freedom group. They've been covering this story as well. They're one of our sources for covering this story. They are working on the front lines. You can check out their website, sign their petition, help resist this new FDA effort to outlaw many of our supplements. You can also talk to your local health food stores and vitamin retailers. Make them aware of this issue and let them know that they need to get on board and fight this tyranny. Otherwise, we could be left without nutritional supplements. Now, I believe, as I'm sure you do as well, Alex, that access to nutritional supplements is a God-given right. It is a natural law right. Just as the Constitution's Bill of Rights, many of those rights are, of course, natural law rights given to us, granted to us by our Creator, and then written down in the Bill of Rights to make sure that those are never taken away from us. Among those are freedom of speech, of course. But another right is freedom to be able to choose what we wish to eat, what types of medicine we wish to put into our bodies, and also what types of medicine we want to treat our own children with. But today in the United States, for example, in Detroit with Marianne Godboldo, she refused to treat her daughter with psychiatric drugs. She was raided at gunpoint. Child Protective Services took away her daughter. You've covered this story because she refused to give in and have that child treated with psychiatric drugs. Just an example. It's an example of how the government today, big government, is taking away all of your rights one by one. What you can say, what you can eat, what kinds of medicine you can pursue. And this is just the latest assault on those rights by the FDA, which we have proven, we have documented over and over again that the FDA is in the pocket of the drug companies. They do not care about your health. They do not want you to be healthy. They want this whole industry, the nutritional supplements industry, to be wiped out so that consumers have no choice but to go to the monopolistic pharmaceutical market, where the drugs are sometimes marked up as much as 55,000% over the cost of their ingredients. Meanwhile, in the United States, we have the most expensive health care in the world and among the worst results in the world. Nutritional supplements could turn that around if they were legalized, if free speech were legalized with nutritional supplements, so that these companies could tell the truth. Many of these ingredients actually prevent cancer. Many of them actually prevent diabetes or prevent heart disease or prevent Alzheimer's. But the FDA doesn't want you to know that because they are in the business of enforcing nutritional ignorance and now enforcing the censorship, the banning of these nutritional products. So that's where we are today, Alex, with this. It's a very dire situation. People need to take action. People need to resist this latest example of FDA tyranny and make sure that we have the rights to be able to choose the types of medicine and nutritional supplements that we want to put into our bodies. That's what keeps us alive and keeps us out of Obamacare, which is a very dangerous healthcare or sick care system.
Well, I mean, I went earlier in the first hour through how the United States has gone from the first in good things like health, infant mortality, all, low crime, to the worst. And we know that globalism is a eugenics form of total takeover. But what they're doing is they're shifting the whole drug war apparatus with SWAT teams, local police, raiding farmers markets, stores, on video, guns drawn, to scare people, to terrorize people that, this is evil, this is horrible. SWAT teaming the Amish, $1 million year-long investigations when Amish are openly selling whole milk to their neighbors and real cheese, not this boiled out dead stuff.
Right.
They know exactly what they're doing, and they're just shifting the whole drug war over to this.
Well, and isn't it incredible that at the same time the FDA would essentially be saying that these ingredients are too dangerous to be sold? Olive extract or resveratrol, things like that. At the same time, our government, through Operation Fast and Furious, as you all well know, is openly arming the Mexican drug gangs with tens of thousands of firearms, including long-range 50-caliber sniper rifles. I mean, if our government would do that and actually arm the drug gangs, what makes you think they wouldn't take away the supplements that are keeping you alive? What makes you think the FDA wouldn't take actions that would openly result in the suffering and the death of millions of Americans all across the country? Because we have proven, we've documented that the FDA will take those actions, and they are taking those actions. We are under assault today, Alex, with our natural health. We even have issues right now. We're researching another breaking story coming out that chemotherapy is now being widely given to pregnant mothers. So you take these toxic weapons, these chemical weapons. Chemotherapy is derived from weapons. And
they knew in the 1980 studies of serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the Prozac class, that it was brain-damaging babies.
Yes.
Now it's all admitted.
And they're giving it to pregnant women.
You're evil.
I mean, you have an unborn child now being given chemotherapy through their mother, and doctors are doing that, and they're saying it's all okay. No problem, don't worry about it. Is it any wonder that we have more and more birth defects, that we have higher rates of autism, that we have the whole healthcare system is failing us, and now they're going to take away this kind of stuff, the stuff that's keeping us alive? I don't know. I mean, Alex, I may be a broccoli smuggler pretty soon. I'm going to be in a parking lot selling illegal broccoli extracts waiting to be raided by the FDA. Because, I mean, how are we supposed to keep ourselves alive if they take all this away, too? Not everybody can grow their own food. I mean, that's a great way to do it. If you can grow your own anti-cancer supplements and grow sprouts in your own kitchen, that's great. But if you can't, you need to turn to companies like this that grow it for you and that concentrate it for you. And these are exactly the companies that are being targeted by the FDA under these new rules. If you don't mind me plugging, we are covering this on naturalnews.com. We've got a feature story up today that explains all this. It breaks it down point by point. It shows you the FDA's, in their own words, how they're going after the nutritional supplements industry. This is a crucial issue. This is worse than Codex, Alex. It's worse than Codex. Codex was only going to ban specific ingredients. This is making all of these companies reapply, groveling at the feet of the FDA to say, please give us permission to sell the products that we formulated for the last 17 years. I mean, this is forcing the nutritional supplements industry to now act as complete slaves to a government entity that does not want you to have access to supplements. It's that bad. It's that crazy. And your sponsor here, Enerfood, I mean, they have 20 ingredients in here. Alex, they're going to have to come up with 20 copies of all this paperwork.
Yeah, let me show folks that.
And they're going to have to submit this times 20 to the FDA to document every ingredient in here. Otherwise, they could have their company raided and taken their products confiscated.